Inside each of us, there is a shadow, a part of ourselves we fear, deny, or suppress. But what if I told you that this shadow holds the key to your transformation, to becoming the strongest, most resilient version of yourself? Think of every hero you've ever admired. The one thing they all have in common is not that they were perfect, but that they were flawed. They were dangerous. They had to face their inner monsters before they could truly become heroic. The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung called this part of us the shadow, the hidden side of our personality. It's made up of the traits we find unacceptable or shameful, our anger, envy, greed, and fear. But here's the catch. Ignoring your shadow doesn't make it disappear. It grows in the dark, waiting to take control when you're most vulnerable. Think about the times you've acted out in ways you didn't understand. That burst of anger, that rash decision, that's your shadow controlling you. And until you face it, it will control you in ways you can't predict. Take Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit. He starts out as an ordinary, harmless hobbit. But to confront the dragon Smaug, he has to become more than that. He has to embrace a darker side, cunning, bravery, even thievery. Because you cannot defeat a dragon by staying safe in the Shire. Or look at Batman, a man who harnessed his rage and fear to become a protector. He's not harmless, he's a monster. But he's a controlled monster, and that makes him virtuous. The goal isn't to get rid of your shadow, it's to integrate it. To wrestle with your darkest tendencies, understand them, and channel them into something productive. This is what makes you dangerous in the best way possible. Think of a martial artist. They don't go looking for fights, but their presence radiates strength. They have the potential for havoc, but they don't need to use it. That's the essence of integrating your shadow. It's not about radiating threat. It's about radiating strength. So how do you begin this process? Start with these steps. Write down the traits you don't like about yourself. Be brutally honest. Anger, jealousy, laziness, name them. When do these traits show up? What situations bring out the worst in you? Like building strength at the gym, face your shadow step by step. If you're afraid of confrontation, practice saying no in low-stakes situations. Channel that energy into something constructive. Turn your anger into assertiveness, your fear into caution, your laziness into rest and reflection. Remember, the shadow isn't your enemy. It's a part of you waiting to be understood, waiting to make you whole. So don't run from it. Face the dragon, claim the gold, and become the hero of your own story. Fear. It's the gatekeeper to your transformation. Most people see fear as a wall, a reason to stop. But fear is actually a doorway, and what lies beyond that doorway is the stronger, braver version of yourself. Today, we're going to explore how to face your fears and move through them step by step. Fear isn't your enemy. It's your body's natural response to the unknown. It's trying to keep you safe. But here's the problem. The same mechanism that protects you can also paralyze you, keeping you from growing and achieving your goals. The key isn't to eliminate fear, but to use it. Controlled fear sharpens you. It focuses your mind and prepares you for action. The first step in facing fear is to name it. What are you truly afraid of? Is it failure? Rejection? Pain? Write it down. Make it specific. Because when you name your fear, you take away some of its power. Fear can't be defeated all at once, but it can be dismantled piece by piece. This is called incremental exposure. Start with the smallest, least intimidating version of your fear. Get close to it. Observe it. Sit with the discomfort until it fades. Then take the next step. If you're afraid of public speaking, for example, start by practicing in front of a mirror. Then try speaking to a friend, then a small group. Each step builds your confidence and reduces the hold fear has on you. Your mind doesn't fully distinguish between imagination and reality. Use that to your advantage. Visualize yourself facing your fear successfully. See every detail, what you're wearing, how you're standing, and how calm you feel. By rehearsing the experience in your mind, you're training your brain to respond differently when the real moment comes. Fear doesn't go away, but it transforms. Each time you face it, you teach yourself something profound. I am stronger than I thought. This isn't about eliminating fear. It's about becoming brave. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. Every great story, every great hero starts with fear. And what makes them great is their decision to act anyway. Here's how to start facing your fear today. Name your fear. Write it down. Be specific. What's the smallest step you can take towards it? Start there. Take one small step at a time. Don't rush the process. Spend 5 minutes a day imagining yourself succeeding. Keep a journal of your victories, no matter how small. Fear isn't here to stop you. It's here to guide you. Each time you face it, you step closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. So ask yourself today, what fear will you face? And what step will you take? Every great story begins with a call to adventure, a moment when the hero must choose. Stay in the safety of the familiar or venture into the unknown. But here's the truth, that same choice exists for you. Today we'll explore how mythological and cinematic stories reveal the path to your own transformation. In J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins is thrust out of his quiet, comfortable life when Gandalf offers him an adventure. At first, he refuses, like many of us do when faced with something new and challenging. But here's the key. The call to adventure doesn't go away. It waits for you. In your life, the call might not come from a wizard at your doorstep. It might be a new opportunity, a challenge you've been avoiding, or even the whisper of an unfulfilled dream. Whatever it is, it's asking you to step out of your comfort zone. The hero's journey truly begins when they leave behind the familiar and step into the unknown. This is the moment you face your fear, take a risk, or make a bold decision. It's terrifying, but here's the secret. The unknown is where transformation happens. It's where you discover who you really are. In every story, the hero faces trials, and they never do it alone. Harry Potter had Ron and Hermione. Frodo had Sam. Even Luke Skywalker needed Yoda. The trials are there to test your strength, and the allies are there to support you. In your journey, you'll face obstacles, failures, and setbacks. But you'll also find allies, friends, mentors, and even strangers who help you along the way. Don't be afraid to lean on them. Transformation is never a solo act. Every hero must confront their dragon, the ultimate fear or challenge standing between them and their goal. But here's the truth. The dragon isn't just external. It's also internal. It's your self-doubt, your anger, your procrastination. To slay the dragon, you must face yourself. This is the hardest part of the journey, but also the most rewarding. Once the dragon is defeated, the hero doesn't just keep the treasure. They bring it back to share with their community. The treasure isn't just gold. It's wisdom, strength, and a new sense of purpose. In your life, the treasure might be a new skill, a deeper sense of self-worth, or the ability to help others. The journey transforms you, but it also gives you something to offer the world. The hero's journey isn't just for mythical characters or fictional heroes. It's for you. Every challenge you face is a call to adventure. Every fear is a dragon waiting to be confronted, and every step forward is another page in your story. Life is chaos. It's unpredictable, messy, and often overwhelming. But chaos isn't just destruction, it's also creation. The question is, how do you find meaning and purpose in the chaos of your life? Let's explore how to transform chaos into strength and uncertainty into clarity. Chaos represents the unknown. It's what happens when life doesn't go according to plan, when you lose a job, face a breakup, or encounter failure. But chaos is also opportunity. It's the raw material for transformation. The ancient symbol of the phoenix reminds us that destruction often precedes renewal. To grow, something must first fall apart. Chaos overwhelms us because it disrupts our sense of control. It reminds us of how fragile and uncertain life really is. But here's the thing. Control is an illusion. The real question is not how to eliminate chaos, but how to navigate it. When chaos strikes, the first step is to create order, even in small ways. Start with what's in front of you. Make your bed. Clean your space. Write down your thoughts. These small acts of order remind you that you can still shape your world, even when it feels out of control. Establishing routines and setting priorities are powerful tools against chaos. They give you a foothold, a starting point for rebuilding. The most profound way to find meaning in chaos is through responsibility. When everything feels uncertain, ask yourself, what can I do? Who can I help? Responsibility gives purpose to pain and direction to disorder. When you take responsibility, even for a small part of the chaos, you transform it. You turn disorder into something meaningful. In mythology, chaos is often represented as a primal force, a dragon, a storm, or an abyss. Heroes confront chaos not to destroy it, but to harness its power. They transform chaos into something valuable, like forging a sword from raw metal. In history, the greatest leaders and innovators emerged from chaotic times. They didn't wait for calm, they acted within the storm, creating meaning and progress in the process. Here are practical steps to turn chaos into meaning. Stop resisting the unknown. Acknowledge it as part of life. Start with something manageable, something you can control today. Ask yourself, what can I do to improve this situation, no matter how small? Chaos often reveals hidden chances for growth or change. Pay attention. Let your core beliefs guide you through uncertainty. Chaos isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. Because within chaos lies the seed of transformation. The next time life feels overwhelming, remember, you're not just a victim of the storm. You're the lighthouse. You have the power to create meaning, even in the darkest times. In a world full of uncertainty, fear, and doubt, some people shine like beacons, guiding, inspiring, and lifting up others. These people aren't perfect, but they've embraced their flaws, taken responsibility, and found meaning in their struggles. Today, we'll explore how you can become a beacon for those around you. Whether you realize it or not, someone is looking to you for guidance. A child, a friend, a colleague. Your actions, even the smallest ones, set an example. The question is, what kind of example are you setting? The world doesn't need perfection. It needs people who are willing to try, people who are willing to lead, even when they don't have all the answers. To inspire others, you don't need to be flawless. In fact, pretending to be perfect often does the opposite. Authenticity, showing your struggles and growth, creates trust and connection. People don't admire perfection. They admire courage and honesty. Being authentic doesn't mean being weak. It means showing that strength comes from embracing vulnerability and using it to grow. The most powerful way to lead is by example. Words matter, but actions speak louder. When you show resilience, kindness, and responsibility, you encourage others to do the same. Leadership isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them what's possible. Being a beacon isn't about arrogance or self-importance. It's about finding the balance between humility and confidence. Humility keeps you grounded while confidence gives you the courage to act. Confidence doesn't mean you know everything. It means you're willing to try, to fail, and to learn in public. That's what inspires others. Here's how you can start shining your light for others. Before you can guide others, you need to lead yourself. Work on your habits, goals, and mindset. Share your struggles and victories. Let others see your journey. Do what you say you will do. Show consistency in your words and actions. Encourage and support those around you. Small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect. Be willing to take a stand, even when it's hard. Courage is contagious. When you act as a beacon, your influence spreads. One act of kindness, one moment of courage can inspire countless others. You may never see the full impact, but it's there, changing lives in ways you can't imagine. By becoming a beacon, you're not just helping others, you're creating a legacy, a world where more people feel empowered to shine their own light. You have the power to be a light in someone else's darkness, to guide, inspire, and uplift those around you. So the question is, will you step up? Will you be the beacon they need? Because the world needs your light now more than ever. We often think of inaction as the safe choice, the neutral ground. But here's the truth. Doing nothing is not a free pass. Inaction has a cost, a heavy one. Today we're going to explore why staying still is one of the riskiest decisions you can make. When faced with uncertainty, it's tempting to stay in your comfort zone. It feels safe, familiar, and easy. But comfort zones don't last forever. Over time, they shrink, decay, and trap you. The world keeps moving whether you do or not. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to take that first step. Inaction doesn't just leave you where you are, it sets you back. Problems ignored grow bigger, opportunities missed may not return. And the longer you wait, the more momentum you lose. Think of all the times you've put something off, starting a project, mending a relationship, or addressing a health issue. The cost of delay isn't just time, it's compounded stress, regret, and missed potential. Inaction also takes a mental toll. It erodes your confidence, feeds self-doubt, and fuels anxiety. The more you avoid, the more powerless you feel, creating a vicious cycle of stagnation. This isn't just about missing opportunities. It's about losing faith in yourself. And that's a cost no one can afford. The antidote to inaction is action. Any action, no matter how small. Each step forward builds momentum, restores your confidence, and opens doors you didn't know were there. Small actions compound too, but in the opposite direction. They build strength, resilience, and hope. The hardest part is starting, but once you do, the rewards are exponential. Here's how you can start breaking free from the grip of inaction. Is it fear, procrastination, or lack of clarity? Name it. Choose one tiny step you can take today. It could be as simple as making a phone call or writing down a goal. Commit to just 5 minutes of focused effort. Often, starting is the hardest part. Imagine your life in 5 years if you don't act. Let that motivate you. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Acknowledge it. The greatest stories of success, growth, and transformation didn't come from perfection. They came from people who decided to act. even when they weren't ready. Action isn't about being perfect, it's about being brave. Every day you have a choice. Stay still and pay the price, or take a step forward and create something new. The cost of inaction is too high. So what's one action you'll take today to move closer to the life you want? The next step is yours. The straight and narrow path isn't the easy road. It's steep, it's difficult, and it demands discipline. But it's also the road that leads to freedom, growth, and fulfillment. Today we'll explore why discipline is the foundation of a meaningful life, and how you can walk this path with purpose. Most people think of discipline as restriction, set of rules that limit their freedom. But discipline isn't about confinement, it's about structure. And structure is what allows you to build something meaningful. Without discipline, there's no foundation for success, no framework for growth. Freedom without structure is chaos. Think about this. A musician practices for hours to master their instrument. That discipline gives them the freedom to create music that moves the world. Discipline is the price you pay for mastery, and mastery leads to freedom. The same principle applies to every area of life: health, relationships, career, and even personal growth. Discipline today creates the freedom to thrive tomorrow. Discipline doesn't mean achieving everything at once. It's about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Small, deliberate actions compound over time to create extraordinary results. Every disciplined choice builds momentum, and momentum makes the hard things easier. The straight and narrow path isn't easy. It's filled with obstacles, temptations, and setbacks. But that's what makes it transformative. It demands focus, perseverance, and courage. Discipline is the choice to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term growth. It's choosing what's meaningful over what's easy. Here are simple, practical steps to build discipline in your life. Pick one habit to focus on, something manageable, like drinking a glass of water every morning. Define what you want to achieve and why it matters. Write it down. Structure your day to eliminate distractions and make discipline automatic. Keep a journal or app to monitor your efforts. Celebrate small wins. Share your goals with someone who can encourage and challenge you. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. Take breaks, but stay committed to the process. Discipline transforms you. It builds confidence, resilience, and a deep sense of accomplishment. The rewards aren't just external, they're internal. Discipline gives you the freedom to respect yourself, to trust yourself, and to create a life that truly matters. When you walk the straight and narrow path, you don't just reach your goals. You become someone you're proud of. Discipline isn't about restriction, it's about unlocking your potential. So today, take one small step onto the straight and narrow path. It's not the easy road, but it's the one that leads to freedom. We've all made mistakes, some big, some small. But what if I told you that your mistakes aren't just obstacles, they're opportunities? Today we'll explore how failure isn't the end of your journey, it's the beginning of transformation. The fear of failure is one of the greatest barriers to growth. It paralyzes us, convincing us that it's better to do nothing than to risk doing something wrong. But here's the truth, failure is inevitable. It's also essential. Think about how children learn to walk. They fall hundreds of times before they master it. But they don't give up, they learn. And that's the same process we must embrace. A redemptive mistake is a failure that teaches you something valuable. It's a detour that helps you see the bigger picture. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about making the right kind of mistakes and learning from them. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Every mistake brought him closer to success. Your mistakes can do the same for you. Mistakes are the soil where growth happens. They challenge you, humble you, and force you to adapt. Without them, there's no progress, only stagnation. When you reflect on your failures, you gain insight, resilience, and wisdom. Each mistake shapes you into someone stronger and wiser. Here's how you can transform your mistakes into stepping stones for success. Take responsibility without blaming others. Growth starts with accountability. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? Make changes based on what you've learned. Failure without change is wasted. Let go of guilt and shame. Mistakes are part of being human. Don't dwell on the past. Use your newfound wisdom to take the next step. Sharing your mistakes isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Vulnerability builds connection and inspires others to embrace their own journeys of growth. When you show others that failure is part of the process, you create a culture of resilience and courage. The Japanese art of kintsugi teaches us that broken things can become more beautiful when repaired. Your mistakes are the gold seams in your story. They don't define your failure, they define your growth. When you embrace your mistakes, you turn them into the foundation of your success. They become proof of your strength, your resilience, and your courage to keep going. Mistakes aren't something to fear, they're something to embrace. Because every failure brings you closer to your potential. So the next time you stumble, remember, it's not the end. It's the beginning of something greater.